His name is Grant Edwards. He's the GM of PGG Wrightson Wool, and he was at the Napier Sale yesterday. Grant, good afternoon, and I'm pleased that the Hawke's Bay region is finally getting some big yellow. Goodness knows they've been needing it.
Yeah, certainly needing it, Jamie. I'm still up here, and I think it's supposed to get to 24, 25 degrees, and it's certainly been talked about and still talked about the big wet that they've just gone through up here, and it's certainly put a lot of the farming practices, like I think down south we tend to call it tailing, but up north it's called docking. It's put it behind, and farmers are flat out trying to catch up.
Yeah, let alone getting crops into the ground. Look, the market, unfortunately, for strong crossbred wool is sort of in the doldrums, but I do get a weekly report from my Aussie guy, Chris Russell, on the state of the Australian wool market, mainly fine wool, of course. It's lifting quite nicely.
We had a sale yesterday in Christchurch at the same time, so there was all up, there was about 13,000 bales across New Zealand for market yesterday, Jamie. The crossbreds are holding a value, but that would be where I'd comment on them. We've certainly seen some very good fine wool prices. The merinos especially have had a good season, which we're starting to come to the end of a little bit. We had quite a few half-bred hoggets on the market yesterday as well. Of course, these are generally all in the south, but they were well sought after, and we've got an Australian buyer that tends to buy through one of the exporters, a local exporter, if you like, but they were out at the sale in Christchurch yesterday, and really gave things a shunt along in those market types.
I'm pleased to hear that. Look, wool's not the only commodity at the moment facing headwinds. The world is probably heading into recession. It's not good for commodity prices. So that's the downside. I guess the upside from an exporting point of view, because we've got to be positive or else we'd all jump off the top of the building, Grant, is the fact that the freight costs are starting to realign post-COVID, after hopefully the worst of COVID.
Definitely, Jamie. To give you an example, a 20-foot container out of China, and as we know, a lot of our exports go to China, whether it's wool or what it is. A 20-foot container out of China into Europe was originally around about $3,500 American, say 2 years ago, to get that transported. That went up to about $12,500 American, and it's come back to somewhere around about that $4,500 to $5,000, or that's the indications we're getting for the next, in the very near future. So it's good to see that rebalancing. But as you touch on, those energy prices. I was talking to one of our overseas customers the other day, and they've gone from $17. Euro per megawatt of power to 270. In the same token, they're looking at other ways that they can offset those. And one thing that we don't probably see a lot in New Zealand, we've got our heat pumps which are electricity driven, but I understand they can put cores into the ground, and which will heat to about 13 or 14 degrees. So that's one thing that they were certainly looking at doing, and of course wind power, etc.
Just about out of time, Grant Edwards, but I want a very quick comment from you on the RONZ AGM, I think was held earlier in the week.
Yes, Jamie. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it, but certainly we had several staff there. We're a member of RONZ, and the feedback was really positive. What they're doing, they did set up a pilot plant around a year ago to reconstitute the fibre. And what they're doing and what they're being able to do with it, it's just growing and growing. And just a couple of examples with the particles, that they can use them in flame proofing. Wool's a protein, so they can digestibles. Certainly very strongly in pharmaceuticals, pigments, and they can even respin a 35 micron fibre down to about 12. So. The team that we had there was, really positive, really pumped up, and certainly getting a lot of overseas inquiry now into that, largely through those sort of pharmaceutical companies, etc. So, a real positive, Jamie, going forward.
The world needs sustainable energy and it needs sustainable products, and there's no more sustainable product than wool. Hey, Grant Edwards, thanks for your time.
Yeah, thanks very much. Cheers. Thanks very much.